This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Bruchim Haba, and welcome everyone. Shalom Aleichem. We're continuing in the executive review of the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh. Today we review day 6. Okay, tomorrow Bez Hashem will review day 7. The plan is a Wednesday you're off. B'siyata Shema we will begin Yisoid HaTshuva Rabbeinu Yoina on Monday. B'siyata D'Shmaya. Okay, we are continuing in day 6. We're up to Ois Kuf Gimel. Ois Kuf Gimel, the Rosh says, do not flatter, sweet talk your friends with chanifos. Don't speak stealthily, slyly, insincerely. And Rav Goldberg explains the hemshech is, even though in Ois Kuf Beis, the Rosh says, do not slacken off acquiring a good, loyal friend. Now this is very interesting. Earlier the Rosh said that you should try to acquire friends. You should have friends in this world. However, besides that, you should also try to have one solid, loyal friend. So, in Ois Sadi he said, don't slacken off from seeking friends. In Ois Kuf Beis, acquire a loyal friend. Do whatever it takes. But whatever it takes does not mean to sweet talk and flatter and so forth. Ois Kuf Daled, do not oppress any Gentile, because ultimately every Gentile will have his hour, and their anger will be preserved forever, and they'll never forgive you, and it's dangerous. Number 105, do not befriend a bad person, a sinner, an angry person, a fool. It's just going to bring shame to you. 106, don't even contemplate, don't even think that you will overcome the Chacham. You will defeat him in an argument, because you have nothing to gain from it. If you win, you'll have learned nothing. You will not have gained anything. 107, do not be angry about don't be makbid about small things against anybody, because you may, for nothing, collect enemies. So don't be makbid on small things. Number 108, don't be so curious to know people's private business, and don't be a yenta. You don't have to know people's private business. Number 109, don't do privately what you would be embarrassed to do publicly, and you'll say, oh, who sees me? No, the matter will get out. Don't do privately what you would be embarrassed to do publicly. 110. Don't find fault if somebody comes to apologize, even if it's a lousy apology. It's an empty apology. It's an insincere apology. It's not even true. He doesn't mean it. She doesn't mean it. Don't just accept it at face value. 111. Don't rely on the gifts of flesh and blood. Work to gain your mezainos. Don't rely on it. Don't be soymech on it. Be independent. Only very few people, like Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, could be completely dependent. But that might be another point entirely. In other words, the Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was not dependent on man, he was dependent on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number 112. Your money should not be more important to you than your health. So don't cut corners in life, do dangerous things just to save money. 113. Don't allow jealousy to enter your heart. It's an illness that really has no cure. Number 114. Don't swear truthfully on your own body. Don't be in that habit. There might be circumstances that one is permitted to swear if it's truthful, but don't be in the habit of swearing on one's own body. Never delay doing complete tshuva and to seek out a remedy for the illness of your soul. Last night we spoke about the idea that tshuva is something that has to be part of a person's outlook and perspective. Every night before one goes to sleep, one should do tshuva. Before one eats a meal, one should do tshuva. Before one learns, one should do tshuva. Every Friday before Shabbos, one should do tshuva. Every day by mincha time, before the day is over, one should do tshuva. Every Erev Rosh Chodesh, tshuva is something we always have to do. Don't toil in vain. One explanation is, don't toil in Torah without acquiring love of Hashem, fear of Hashem. That's toiling in vain. Or it means don't chatter, don't talk about nonsense, and don't even allow your ear to hear Dvarim B'Telim. Number 117, don't give your friend a nickname. One who gives a friend a bad nickname has no share in the world to come. Now, even though the Rosh already said in Ois Tes, don't call your friend by a nickname, here he's adding that by using a nickname you could lose your share in the world to come. Number 118, the community needs you. They're asking you for help. They're in a dire situation. But I'm wealthy. Is that get lost. Why are you bothering me? Don't trust in your wealth. Someone who trusts in their wealth will gather enemies and he will stumble under his enemies. 119, don't refuse the people of your city. What does that mean, don't refuse? If they need something of you, nullify your will from before their will. Number 120, don't get into the habit of eating outside of your house with other people if it's not a Sudas Mitzvah. Don't go out to eat in restaurants with other couples. Nothing good happens from that. If you want to go out to a restaurant, you can eat with your wife. Don't go out to eat with other couples. Not a good habit. Don't become inebriated. You might say something inappropriate that you'll come to regret. President George W., he learned the lesson the hard way when he would drink a little too often, and a couple of times he found himself just spilling out inappropriate remarks, and he realized the danger of becoming inebriated. 122, don't get angry at your wife. Now we already know from Aizvav, don't get angry at anybody, but there's a special azhara not to get angry at one's wife. And we find that even Rachel Imenu, when Yosef was born, she said, okay, Baruch Hashem, now if something breaks, my husband won't get angry at me. So even in the house of great people, that's always a concern. And if you distance her with your left hand, bring her close with your right hand without delay. Do not shame your wife. Honor her. Sometimes in a situation where you could have given her honor and you don't, she could take it as a disgrace. And by honoring her, you'll save her from sinning with somebody else. 124. Don't hang out with scoffers, with late sunnim, with people of low character. They will bring you to sin. 125. Do not be lazy for seeking chachma. Rav Goldberg brings down the story from the Sefer Toldos Adam from Rav Zalman of Volozhin. If you have desire to learn from a certain sefer, go to the library. Rav Zalman of Volozhin, one time in the freezing cold of the night, he was learning, he wanted to learn from a certain sefer, and he went out in the freezing cold, unbearable cold, to learn from that sefer, and then he returned. So don't be lazy from seeking chachma, and don't be lazy from rebuking your friend privately. B'derech kavod. What do one thing have to do with the other? Sometimes a person says, okay, the guy next to me was on his phone by davening. Now what? I have to go over to him and explain to him and say something to him? Nah, I'm too busy, I'm not in the mood, it's a pain in the neck. So one thing you can't do is you can't lambaste him publicly. So now I have to take him to the side, it's a whole ordeal. No, do it. You have to tell him. It's such a beautiful thing. You come to Minyan, I just want you to know that during davening, we really can't have a telephone out. I have to do that, you got to do it. Number 126. Don't speak if it's not the right time. There's always an appropriate time to speak. Don't speak if it's not the correct time. If there's no benefit from speaking, guard the doors of your mouth. Number 127, don't get involved in a conversation with a someone who's insane. Because he's not going to listen to you anyway, and it's just going to bring you shame. 128, don't be an ingrate. Honor anyone who gave you any opportunity in life or showed you any kindness. Even if he gave you a small amount and you really wanted more, do not be an ingrate. 129, do not say something false because of, and be honorable and faithful to anyone, even to a Gentile. Number 130, do not be lazy. To be makdim shalom to every person, even to a guy, because of darkei shalom. And finally, and this is the last hanhaga in what is called the first ma'dura of the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh, do not train yourself. Do not be in the habit to be in the company only of a chacham. Listen to his words, be attentive to his teachings, and these are the 131 practices that the Rosh said these are the matters that a person should be careful to turn away from the trap of death and to be illuminated in the light of life. Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we will try to do the 23 practices that are what is called Madura Shniya, that are dedicated for Shabbos, and then Be'ez Hashem, the following Monday, we will try to begin the Sefer Yesod HaTshuva of Rabbeinu Yonah. Okay, thank you everybody for joining. Bracha v'hatzlacha. Have a wonderful day.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.